I can't emphasize enough the importance of looking at the replacement index of a ram. Litter size there, it's one of the most important traits that will impact profitability on sheep flocks. If you purchase a ram there that's going to give you poor litter size, and you end up having 30, 40, 50 daughters of that ram in a flock for 3, 4, 5 years, that could have serious negative impact on a flock.
Hello, I'm Kieran Lynch and welcome to OviCast, the Teagasc Sheep podcast. Each episode will bring you latest insights, advice and technical updates for the sheep industry. Now, with ram sale season on the way, we chat to Sean Godfrey from Sheep Ireland. Sean highlights the impact a ram can have on flock for a number of seasons. We discuss how to locate your next ram and the tools on Sheep Ireland website to help make this process easier. Sean highlights some of the key information in sales catalogue and how you can easily access more via the ram search tool. We finish up discussing this year's upcoming multi-breed sale. We hear now from Sean.
Purchasing the ram is probably, it's a hugely important task for sheep farmers. A ram isn't just going to affect the flock for the following season. He's going to affect the flock for several seasons to come, and especially if you're going keeping replacement females off him. I suppose, when you're going looking at your ram, I suppose a lot of people generally would go and look and purchase a ram based on physical attributes. But I suppose, the Eurostars is an element that we would encourage farmers to look at closely as well when purchasing a ram, just as a guideline or an additional tool to help them select rams that are going to be beneficial to their flocks. I suppose I mentioned the replacement index, or buying rams for keeping replacement. So the replacement index would come in there. Those replacement traits like litter size, milk, barrenness. So they're traits that you actually can't see in a ram. So that's where the Eurostar indexes come in. So you're able to see, will a ram be good for litter size, good for milk, good for barrenness. Whereas I suppose, look on the terminal index, then it's probably the physical element of a ram will give you a good idea of how the ram will perform terminally. But again, you've lots of different elements coming in there, such as management of the ram that can affect that. So again, looking at the terminal index will give you a very good idea of how the ram is going to perform, for things like survivability, lamb vigor, growth rate and things like that, all hugely important traits for commercial sheep flocks.
And Sean, as you indicated there, like some of them traits are going to have a direct impact on next year on the lambs when they hit the ground, but that long-term effects, particularly on those replacement traits, that's a long-term couple of seasons and even their progeny afterwards. So spending a bit of time looking at genetics of your flock and investing in it is an important thing to do at the moment.
Look, hugely important. The replacement, I can't emphasize enough the importance of looking at the replacement index of a ram. Litter size there, it's one of the most important traits that will impact profitability on sheep flocks. So, if you purchase a ram there that's going to give you poor litter size, and you end up having 30, 40, 50 daughters of that ram in a flock for 3, 4, 5 years, that could have serious negative impact on a flock. So what you really want to look at is getting rams with high number of lambs born there to increase the litter size of your flock, because at the end of the day, the more lambs you have to sell, the more profitable your flock is going to be.
And look, there's a huge amount of information there. We'll tease that out in a few moments. I suppose the first thing, Sean, is we have to find out where we're going to go to buy these rams. You've done a bit of work in terms of the breeders directory and the sales calendar. Maybe talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah, 100%. So look, we publish the Sheep Ireland Guide and Directory of Breeders there every year. So it's a little booklet where we pull together a small bit of information on what Sheep Ireland do in terms of the Eurostars, in terms of how to interpret the Eurostars. There's some information there on different research projects and things like that. But I suppose the main element of that publication would be there's a list of breeders who are performance recording in the Lamb Plus program and that. So it's a combination of lowland and hill breeders, and I think across the book there's the bones of about 2,000 hill and lowland breeders in that book from all over Ireland, with from all the breeds that you want. So that book was posted out to I think 15 to 17,000 commercial sheep farmers, and it's also available online as well on the Sheep Ireland website for anybody that wants to look for it. So it's a really useful place for anyone who's looking for rams in their locality of any particular breed.
Oh, it's certainly one. I look, I suppose we are talking about looking for rams. The ram search tool is there all the time. Very useful. You can narrow down to particular traits you want, but also in your own locality.
Exactly. Look, the RAM search is a very useful tool. So, I suppose the RAM search is kind of an add-on to the guiding directory where, you can search for a particular RAM. So if you're looking for, high terminal index, high replacement index, and you can go further than that then again if you want. So if you're looking for, you can add in your days to slaughter, your number of lambs born, your daughter's milk and things like that. If you want to really, really target one of those traits in your flock, you can find RAMs in your locality that will do that for you. And on top of that, then you can also find breeders in your locality. If you're not looking for a particular ram, if you're just looking for a breeder, that'll give you lots of choice when you go to their yards. You can also find them as well. And another element that we've introduced this year is we've added a ram sales calendar to our website. So we've collected all the dates of the society sales that'll be happening throughout the year. So we've put them all now in one place on our website so that people can look up sales in their locality, when are they happening, what breeds, etc. So it's just an easy place to find all the sales of all societies in one place. And currently we're collecting the dates of the hill ram sales as well, which will be happening a bit later on in the year, come September, October, and all those will be there to find as well for farmers to find.
It's a useful thing because look at time's ticking on and you don't find these days slipping away. Um, right, Sean, let's move it on a wee bit. When we get to the actual sale itself, like we have a huge amount of online information we can search up on animals, but most of these sales will have a catalogue there. Take me through some of the key features in that catalogue and some maybe the additional things you've done.
In the ordinary sales catalog, I suppose there's three animals per page, and what's displayed for those animals there, then you've got the animal's own information, their tag number, the pedigree number, the breed, the birth rank of the animal, singles, twins, triplets, etc. You got some information on their scrapie type. You got their SAS eligibility, whether they're SAS eligible or not. Then you've also got their ancestry. You've got the sire, and sire, dam, and then grandsire, granddam. That level of ancestry, and also you've got the Eurostar information. So we've got the replacement index and the terminal index, and then we've got four key sub indexes: lamb survival, days to slaughter, daughter's milk, and number of lambs born. I suppose those are four traits that would really drive profitability in commercial sheep farmers. But I suppose one thing we've added this year is each catalog is its own individual unique QR code. So if farmers scan that QR code, they'll be taken to an online electronic version of that exact catalog. But there's a lot more information available in that online catalog. There's an extra layer of ancestry, so you're going back to the great great grandsire, and there's also there's many more traits available in that catalogue as well, from your barrenness, lambing difficulty, your mature weight, carcass conformation, etc. So there's a lot more information available out there to farmers, and it's a lot easier to find now as well.
Well, useful tool. Save typing in the number, Sean, like it pops up there straight away when you go searching it.
Exactly, like we've gotten feedback. A lot of farmers are starting to look for these extra traits, and as you say, if they're in a market looking to buy rams, previously they used to have to search up that ram on the ram search and see if they're looking for something like carcass conformation, then they'd have to go individually looking across 3 or 4 or 5 rams that are in a sale. But now when they're in the sale, they can scan the QR code and it produces a catalog on their phone of all the rams in that sale, so they can look them up pretty quickly then.
Look, we're talking about sales. Obviously, the premier sales and that are happening at the moment. Some have already taken place. We have a lot of regional sales. Your own Sheep Ireland sale has become one of the biggest sales of the year. It is the biggest sale, in fact, of the year.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about that this year. Where are you heading for and when is it on?
Yeah, yeah. So look, I suppose this year, the Sheep Ireland Elite Eurostar multibreed ram sale is taking place in Kilkenny Mart on Saturday, the 22nd of August. Look, it's the largest catalogued ram sale in the country at this stage. So look, this year I suppose we're expecting over 500 rams. So all the rams in the sale will be 5-star on either the replacement or terminal index. We're expecting well over 10 different breeds to be involved. So, your Suffolks, Texels, Charlies, Belclairs, Vindines, Clins, Hampshire Downs, Rouge, Beltex, all those breeds will be available on the day. I suppose one of the unique things about the sale is that it's all rams are parentage verified. So it's you know exactly what you're getting. All rams will have a genomic evaluation as well. So that means their evaluation is much more accurate, and farmers can place a lot more emphasis on the figures that's being shown. One of the key things that we have as well is at intake is there's a very, very thorough physical inspection. So, any ram that's deemed to have a defect or not physically correct, or, isn't right for breeding, we don't allow those rams into the sale. And I suppose the other key thing then is that all rams in the sale are SAS approved as well, for any farmer that is still looking to buy an SAS approved ram to meet the requirements of the scheme. So look, as I say, it's taking place in Kilkenny Mart on Saturday the 22nd of August. Viewing will be from 9 a.m. and then the sale is starting at 10:30. And look, for anyone who can't make it on the day, there's online bidding through Mart Bids, and look, we'll make any effort then for transport where it's needed for anyone who purchases online.
It's going to be a busy day, Sean. Look, it's a big number of rams go through, a couple of rings in action at one time as well. Quite a spectacle.
Yeah, no, it is. Look, it's a great day. It's a great day for anyone who's interested in the sheep industry. Look, as you say, there's 3 rings running on the day. So it's quite busy. It's a bit hectic, but again, as you say, look, it's a great day out.
No, Sean, looks something certainly useful, particularly if you're looking for a couple of different rams, of different breeds of that. You could get all done in one day, so useful sale. Sean, it's busy couple of weeks ahead. As you indicated at the start, though, it's one thing that's worth putting a bit of time and effort into is finding the right ram for your flock. The search tools are all on the Sheep Ireland website, as well as all the other information about the different sales.
Exactly. So look, if you head over to the Sheep Ireland website, you should be able to find all the information that you need. As I mentioned previously, where can you find rams? So you're looking for your guiding directory if you've got it in the post. That's also available online as well. So you should be able to find breeders through that. The ram search is a very good, useful tool to find breeders in your locality. And then obviously the ram sales calendar, if you're looking for a sale in your locality as well, where you can go and pick up a ram, that's also available. But look, as you mentioned, Kieran, and we said it at the start, look, purchasing the ram, it can't be emphasized enough the importance that farmers should put on purchasing the right ram for their flock, because it'll have impacts for years to come.
Yeah, definitely right, Sean. Look, good catching up with you. I'll pop links to that in the show notes, and it was good chatting to you today.
Thanks for having me on, Kieran.
We'll leave it there for this week's episode. I have included a link in the show notes to the Sheep Ireland website where you can see a lot of the information that Sean was discussing, as well as that upcoming ram sales catalogue. That's it for me. I'm Kieran Lynch. Thanks for joining us. Don't forget to subscribe and follow us wherever you get your podcasts.